Tuesday, July 31st, 2018, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. This morning I'm going to look at the dollar index chart and the gold chart just to see what's going on. I would say the markets right now are very quiet and directionless. I know gold has come down in the last few weeks, last month, quite a bit. But overall, though, all the asset classes and currencies are pretty much directionless, and it feels like the liquidity in the markets also is very low. I guess it's the summer doldrums. But sometimes the best thing to do is to do nothing. And I think that's where we are right now, in a period where the best kind of action is inaction, so to speak. And for all of those who have prepared, who have been preparing for years, accumulating gold and silver, precious metals, physical, stacking silver, buying gold if you can, you should just stick to it. Should you get fancy and start trying to do ETFs, short the stock market, play the ETFs in the bond market? I don't think so. I think you should leave all that to the professionals. Cryptocurrency is still a bit in the doldrums. I know we've recovered fairly well recently from around 6,000 in Bitcoin, but we're still stuck in the correction we've had since the end of December, beginning of the year. So yeah, that gives you time to accumulate more if you are into cryptocurrencies. I have some cryptocurrencies, but it's a small part, of course, of my overall portfolio. But I think there's still potential there too. The other thing I like to say, some people have been asking me about a list, if I could do a video with a list of my favorite books. Well, I've done something I called a book stream. On the 17th of June this year, a book stream Sunday special. It was a live stream where I talked about, I think, 17 books that I really enjoyed reading. And I'll put the link to that video below in the description and up in the cards. So if any of you haven't seen that or are looking for a list of my books. The other thing I like to say, I'm also now trying to promote more of the Monaco 64 merchandise. I get a lot of questions about it, so I've decided to open a Monaco 64 shop on teespring.com. Most of the stuff is to do with Billy. There's a Billy Silverbug merchandise, and also the FT fake gold news mug. So the link to that is in the description. So let's start, of course, with the market. See what we're doing this morning. It's 8:37 a.m. London. So right now, gold is down $1 at 1220.50. The range has been 1219.50 to 1223.57. So frustrating. Just not going anywhere, gold right now, even though it's not, and at least it's not continuing to go down, right? It's held. Silver 15.46, sorry, it's down 2 cents. Range has been 15.43 to 15.52. So yeah, summer doldrums, very little range. Dow, after a negative day yesterday in the stock markets, we're up slightly, only 17 points at 25,326. So we're back below that 25,400 level. That was an old high recently, I think a couple of months ago. I'll have a quick look at the chart later on when I look at gold and the dollar index. S&P up 4.5 points, outperforming slightly, just above 2,800, 2,807. NASDAQ, which has been driving the stock market lower, of course, the FANG stocks, that's up 13 points, 72.06. That's the NASDAQ 100 future. The pound 131.41. We rallied a little bit yesterday. It's up 8 pips this morning, so not going much, not moving much. And of course, Thursday will probably be a big day for the in terms of movement for the pound with the Bank of England meeting. Euro is back above 117. It's 117.23, up 0.2%. So euro is quite steady. And dollar yen, dollar's up 0.2%, 111.27. The dollar is also up 0.15% against the yuan. Bank of Japan met today. Basically, what the Bank of Japan said is that they're going to keep an eye on yields, and they're going to not only continue tapering, but if yields go up, they'll start buying more. So they basically said they want to have their cake and eat it. They're going to keep manipulating the markets. They're going to move from more money into the Topics ETF from the Nikkei ETF. The Topics is a bigger index of Japanese stocks. It includes it's more like comparing, the Nikkei is like comparing the Dow to the S&P. So they're moving more of their purchases to the Topics. And yeah, that's driven yields a little lower this morning. The 10-year yield is down now 2 basis points at 2.95. I can see here after the Bank of Japan announcement that the 10-year yield spiked lower from 2.97 to 2.93. So central bankers, and that's the problem with the only reason the Bank of Japan is tapering. And what does tapering mean? Well, they're still doing QE, but they're doing less QE. And the reason they're doing that is not because they want to be more tightened policies, because they've killed the market in Japan and there's no participants, so there's not enough liquidity. Will that happen in the US and Europe? It could. They could. It's like, you go and play baseball or football or soccer, and then you've got two big, really good players, and they do all the work, they do everything. Or in soccer, they don't pass the ball, they just play amongst themselves. Everyone's going to say, well, I don't want to play this anymore. This is ridiculous, and they get off the field, and that's that's what the central banks have to guard against. So that's what's happening. Very little at the moment. There are some headlines, like on Zero Hedge. Morgan Stanley, one of the banksters, they're saying the selling has just begun. I quote this, of course. This correction will be the biggest since February. Well, we'll have to see. I guess September through November is one of the seasons where you do have stock market, corrections. So we're just getting into August, so we might have to wait a little longer, right? So let's have a look at the dollar index. Yeah, the dollar index, of course, has been rallying since the middle of April, end of April. It bottomed just below 90. And yeah, but if you look at it, since end of May, it's actually been forming kind of a top. It's almost like a head and shoulder. It's been finding a lot of resistance just above around 95.50. And right now it's drifting a little lower. Looking here, the low from the 9th of July seems to be a key level. If we break through there, we could see acceleration lower in the dollar index. That level is 93.71. So yeah, those are the key levels there. 94 because it's a round number, but really 93.71 on the downside. Upside 95 and 95.50. If we go back up above 95.50 and especially 95.65, we could see another major move higher in the dollar index, and unfortunately that would be negative for gold. So now let's have a look at the gold chart. So let's have a look. This is a longer term chart I've done of gold. going back to 2014, and it incorporates the December 2015 low around 1,045.46. And I've done a Fibonacci retracement of the low from December 2015 and the high after that. And the high after that, of course, was in 2016 at 1375. And that's why this 1211 level, 1212 level is really important, because it's the Fibonacci, the 50% retracement of that post 2015 low. Is the it's the 50% retracement of the whole move from low to high, from 1045, 1046 to 1375 is at 12, virtually 1211, let's say, right? And that's where we bottomed the other day. When was that? So let's have a look. That was the 19th of July that we touched that level, 1211. And so if we break through there, of course, we have 1204, which is the low, let's see, in July, 10th of July last year. And then you could argue we could see the 61.8 retracement of the move we've seen since the low in 2015, which would be 1172. So that's the technical picture for gold. I'll quickly look at the Dow. As you see here, the high from the 11th of June was 25,400 roughly. So that's why that level is important, 25,400. It looks like we're dipping back below that level. As you can see, though, we've been going sideways since that big drop we saw at the end of January, beginning of February. So that's what's going on. Not much else. Fairly quiet. In action, as I said, sometimes, yes, it's boring just sitting there, seeing things do nothing or even go lower. But that's the way it is. Patience is sometimes necessary. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can also follow me on DTube, Steemit, and on Twitter. And I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.